out of the box or out of the wall, whatever you want to call it, you exactly know what is happening. We have Mad Max Fury Road in 3D. Yes, I do have the 4K that just came out, I want to say a couple weeks ago, in Steelbook. However, I decided, you know what? 3D. A lot of people just don't do 3D reviews. And like I said in the reviews before, watching this the first time, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. Now, after watching 1, 2, 3, can I appreciate Fury Road more? Let's find out. In 3 freaking D. I forgot the glasses, so let's try it again. Let's find out in 3D. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing Mad Max Fury Road in 3D. So what's about? Pretty simple premise. We are back in the Mad Max world. A guy named Max. But it isn't Mel Gibson. And we have Furiosa. And you know what? We're going through wastelands. Furiosa wants to go back to her family, to the Green Place, while taking 5 or 6 ladies from this guy who basically wants babies from them. Because, I mean, what else do you do in the wasteland if you're rich and, take all these hot women? And of course, he's going to want to take them from themselves. So it's pretty disgusting overall. But it is a car chase movie through and throughout from the beginning to the end. With, of course, a little bit of law in the second act, sure. But, okay, let's talk about the 3D effects first. 3D effects for this one were fan-freaking-tastic. I mean, even though it wasn't... Okay, there is one scene. All right, one scene... They really did the 3D effect at the very end where they did the car crash with the guitar and things on, the stringy things. Stringy things, horrible. On the bungee cords. So, yes, they purposely made that 3D, of course, with the steering wheel as well, and that works. But when you're just watching the movie generally, when there's car chases, there's depth, it is fantastic looking. You get a lot of depth. You get a lot of pop-out scenes. It just looks good. And this is where... I wish 3D would kind of make a comeback with just TVs in general. Like, come on. These are fun movies to watch in 3D. I know people are saying it's a fad, but I do think it's going to come back, and they're still making 3D movies. For example, Garfield is going to be in 3D. We have probably Despicable Me 4 is going to be in 3D. And I'll be seeing them in 3D. So if you have a chance to see Mad Max Fury Road in 3D ever anymore, just in your home, a 3D projector, do it. It's completely worth it. So let's talk about the movie itself, because I know some people love this movie through and throughout. When I first watched this in theaters, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. The reason why I wasn't a big fan of it is I didn't like the 1.5 times speed of some of the stuff, especially with the car chases, with a lot of the stuff that's going on. I didn't like Tom Hardy's voice in this movie, because there's a lot of times I didn't understand what he was actually trying to freaking say. And I didn't like the second act because it did drag, in my opinion. Rewatching it now, I do have a better appreciation for the movie since I've seen Mad Max 1, 2, 3. However, I still have some glaring flaws with the movie overall. What you cannot take away from this movie is the car wrecks, the look of the movie, the cinematography, just the funness of when you have all these cars on the road, going 60, 80 miles per hour. Car wrecks are everywhere. It is freaking amazing to look at. I mean, top-notch shit. It is that freaking good. So that is one thing you cannot take away from this movie. How it's shot, how it looks, and just the overall badassery of when cars are moving. When looking at what Oscars this won, of course, with sound, 2 sounds. I don't think it was editing. Maybe it was editing. Yes, it was 2 sounds, editing, costumes. Visual effects was Ex Machina that year. Cinematography, I already said cinematography, which beat Roger Deakins that year. I do think the weirdest one is costumes, though. I would have to look at that list. I think costumes winning Oscars is kind of interesting because rewatching it, it's just post-apocalyptic stuff. And, of course, you have the females wearing the white, cloths. Yes, you could say the people wearing the makeup, and it's the craziness when you see the bad guy wear his things, but, costumes are fine in this movie. Second act, though, it does drag a little bit, especially when you get to the Promised Land. And did anyone not realize, too, when they meet when Furiosa, Charlize Theron's character, meets like her family from back in the day, it kind of goes a little quick, and they all die. Only one of them survives. You're just like, yeah, you kind of feel cheated because these girls, these women who've been living in the desert that had everything. I don't want to say had everything, but it's like not their fault that the world went to shit, and they're doing the best they can. But now, like, they all die. And it's really weird when you introduce one of them. One is on, like, a radio tower, completely naked. I don't know if she did that to, like, lure men. I was like, why was she naked? I never understood that as well in rewatching it. I don't understand why she was naked. You don't see anything, but you're just like, you took that off. Do you remember? I could say also, like, I'm talking about this as a whole. This is a weird review. I know I'm kind of doing this in a disjointed review. I thinking about this movie again. I did not like the first 10 minutes watching it, and I didn't like the first 10 minutes either. Just watching these fat ladies like give milk, very uncomfortable to look at. Just the whole scene where you just kind of don't know what is occurring. You just see Tom Hardy go car wreck, and you just see a tattoo on his back. Like, everything's moving so fast in the first 10 minutes that you're kind of confused what's going on. Then you realize, okay, he's a blood bank. But he's a blood bank because some of these chrome figures need blood bags. So it's just things like that where it doesn't explain a lot. Sure, you're in the wasteland. And that's what I think with the Mad Max movies in general. George Miller, his writing style is very simplistic. It doesn't really have to be a lot because there's not a lot to say. We're in the shit. We're all in the shit together. Shit's whacked. Shit's fucked up. People are weird. This movie's weird. And it embraces that weirdness. But yeah, so rewatching it, I do have a, more appreciation for Fury Road. However, number 2 is better in my opinion. Road Warrior is a better film. The first one, maybe, because you actually get some human interaction and some emotional damage with some of the first one. This one's a straight up action set piece. No emotional damage. Yes, there are some situations that do occur and you're like, oh, that sucks. But just, I don't know. It's fun to watch. It's fun to freaking watch. I don't know what else to say. You either love this movie or you think it's good. And I'm more of, it's pretty freaking good. So Mad Max Fury Road 3D will receive a 4 out of 5 with Futons, which equals at 80%. So let's see the correct news scores gave this one. I'm an idiot and realized I didn't even wear the 3D glasses in this review. So we'll just go from the beginning to the end. I'm an idiot. Okay, so, God, Mad Max Fury Road. Yeah, so today, because it's coming out on Friday, I'm seeing Garfield, I'm seeing Furiosa, and Sight. I'm doing a triple freaking feature. All right, so we have critics a 97% with 440 of them. Audience score 86% over 100,000. Critic consensus with exhilarating action and a surprising amount of narrative heft. Mad Max Fury Road brings George Miller's post-apocalyptic franchise roaring vigorously back to life. The stunt work, freaking fantastic. I mean, this is a stunt Oscar. We're on the freaking polls. Like I said, there's a lot to appreciate about this movie. There really is. But there's also stuff where you're just like, it's just too silly, weird, or there are some dragging points in the second act. Anyway, 86, 80, 97. Chase Scott here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know if things Butantopia. You Blue Futon, take watch a great day. I can watch this today, tomorrow, week from now, month, for a year from now, every single freaking one of you. Peace and love, and pray for me for this what am I trying to say? Oh, triple feature Friday.